Each year in the United States, thousands of major crimes go unsolved. When the case has gone cold and police have nowhere to turn, they seek assistance from the public. This is a program dedicated to solving these cases. This is Crime Stoppers Case Files.
Welcome to Crime Stoppers Miami. I'm Dick Masten, the director of Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers. The purpose of this program is to share unsolved cases with as many South Florida viewers as possible, empowering you to do something about the violence on our streets. Every case we feature is unsolved. Every case we feature has a cash reward available. In other words, every case on this program is an opportunity for you to help your city and earn Crime Stoppers cash without even giving your name. Let's get started. On June the 5th, 2010, at 2:45 in the morning, 30-year-old Kareem Berry was riding his bicycle near Northeast 80th Street in Miami. He never made it home. Here's the story.
On the night of June 5th, 2010, at approximately 2:45 a.m., our victim, Kareem Berry, was gunned down at the Biscayne Shopping Plaza at 551 Northeast 80th Street. Our victim didn't live around there. He lived in Overtown, but he worked in the area. He borrowed his nephew's bike to ride around. He rode on 79th Street towards a strip club called the Take One Lounge, about 3 blocks from where he was shot at. Not getting into any trouble, not arguing with anybody, just riding around. And for some reason, he rode back the way he came, east on 79th Street, over some train tracks, where he gets to the Biscayne Shopping Plaza. Normally at that time, it's deserted. All the businesses are closed. What we have is basically a crime scene theory. Something, don't know if it was a car or somebody he saw, drove him deeper into the parking lot, which could have been somebody in a vehicle. Apparently, once he gets about 15, 20 feet from some of the stores, he gets ambushed and he gets shot at 9 times and gets struck at least once. So once he's struck and he drops his bicycle, he starts running. The blood trail clearly shows the path that he took to try to get away from the people who were ambushing him. But there's no evidence to suggest that they were chasing him on foot. There's no casings, there's no strike marks. It would make sense that somebody would have been in a vehicle and they went around to try to cut him off. Apparently he knew where he was running and he makes it to the other side, runs past some abandoned stores. Either the shooter was able to go around the plaza or there was somebody else waiting and somebody again shoots at him there. And that stopped him and turned him around and drove him back about 50 feet, and he sees a stairwell that leads up to a door. I can only imagine that he thought that he can get inside one of the stores to hide. So he makes it up the stairwell, and when he gets to the door, it's locked. And it's a big metal door, and there's no way for him to get through. Looks like he tried to go back down where the person that was originally shooting at him with the same caliber met him on the landing below him, shot up about 3 or 4 more times, basically collapsing him to where he fell on his back on the stairs, and they just finished him off. He pretty much died on the scene, and whoever it was left the area. We don't know if they were in a car, we don't know if they were on foot or on bicycles. Right now we have no suspect information. We have no idea who did this or why. I believe there could have been somebody driving by. 79th Street is a very well-traveled street. There's plenty of homeless people in the area that are constantly traveling through there. 3 blocks away there's a strip club where there's people going there and leaving. Our victim was well known in the area, and the family didn't know of any problems that the victim was having. All they can tell us is that the victim was well liked by the people. Nobody had a problem with him. So we had no motives against anyone trying to kill the victim. It would be very appreciated to call to help us and to get this family some closure for our victim that didn't deserve to die, not on that night.
This young man wanted to live. He fought hard to get away, but he ended up cornered. All we can do now is find his killer and make sure it doesn't happen to someone else. And when we come back, you'll learn about the murder of 54-year-old Carol Taylor on Crime Stoppers Miami. On December the 4th, 2009, 54-year-old Carol Taylor was having her hair done at a friend's home near 170th Street in Miami Gardens. When she left the hairdresser, she didn't make it far because she was targeted by a killer wielding an AK-47. Here's the case.
Carol was my second born May 3rd, 1955. Everyone loved her. She had the personality, she had the heart.
All my life, my conscious memory, I've always had a sister because she was 356 days younger than me. In junior high school, she ran track. She was a great singer. She wrote music, and she was in a band. She was lead singer. I was so proud of her because she was so outgoing, and I would ask her for advice in dating because I was more introverted. I loved being with her.
She was a loving person, and no matter what your problem was, if you needed something, she was there. Always had a helping hand for everyone. When we decided to come to Florida, Carol came down with my wife and I.
She wasn't in Florida 3 weeks and she found a job teaching. They loved her and she loved the children.
Her flamboyancy was all over.
Carol was very funny. Her nickname was The Funny, because she always made people laugh and joke, and she was the life of the party. People knew Carol first. Oh, you're Carol's brother. She wasn't Kevin's sister.
She loved children. She was not fortunate to have a child of her own.
She had been married before, but the marriage didn't work out.
Carol was married 3 times. Her first husband, the love of her life, was on a ship called the Poet. 4 or 5 months after marriage, the ship disappeared. Everyone on the ship was declared dead, and it hurt Carol deeply because she was so in love with her husband. She was so hard-given, so loving. We cannot fathom that anyone would want to harm her.
Is it a male or female that was shot?
I don't know. They in the car and they fucking going in circles.
All I heard was a horn going, and I heard the kid for him to move out the way. And when he went in the front of the car, he just got out. One person on the passenger side and started shooting. And he just stopped shooting, and then he jumped in the car and left. And the car started going in a circle from then on.
Okay. All right. We're on the way.
On December 4, 2009, at approximately 8:20 p.m., Carol Taylor was actually at a family friend's house, and she was having her hair done, which is within the city of Miami Gardens. While she was there, she was allegedly making a lot of phone calls and texting some friends while her hair was being done. Once her hair was completed by her friend, she ended up getting back into her vehicle, and she had left westbound on Northwest 169th Terrace. It appears that she had gone around a block. At that point, it appears that Carol had just pulled to the T intersection located at Northwest 38th Court and Northwest 170th Street. She was actually traveling eastbound. She had stopped for the stop sign, which she was supposed to do. As soon as she had continued forward from her stop, she was confronted by a red vehicle that had rapidly accelerated in front of her vehicle as she had already attempted to drive into the intersection. At that point, the passenger suspect gets out of the vehicle. That suspect is armed with a high-caliber rifle. Carol obviously observed that something bad was happening at that point, and she had placed her vehicle into reverse. The suspect makes his way towards the passenger side of Carol's vehicle and starts shooting multiple shots into the passenger side of Carol's car. Ms. Taylor was hit, unfortunately fatally, with the projectiles that were shot into the passenger side of her car. And since her vehicle was already in reverse, the vehicle was observed traveling in a counterclockwise motion in reverse when officers got to the scene.
My daughter was murdered at 8 o'clock. I didn't hear about it until 4 a.m. in the morning. My husband and I were sleeping, and the phone rang. And I just started screaming because I couldn't believe my child was gone. And then afterwards, I called my son, and I told him because they were like this.
I said, Mom, please don't tell me. I said, Mom, please don't tell me. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
We were in a state of shock. We lost a jewel. A part of us is gone. And before my time is up, I hope that justice be served. Only God knows
We'll be right back with more on the Carol Taylor homicide right after this. Welcome back to Crime Stoppers Miami. I'm Dick Masten. We now continue with the homicide of Carol Taylor.
On December 4, 2009, at approximately 8:20 p.m., Carol Taylor was murdered inside of her vehicle in the city of Miami Gardens. Ms. Taylor was actually at a friend's house at the night that she was murdered, having her hair done, and she ended up driving around a block. She had stopped at a stop sign at a T intersection. She was confronted. Passenger got out of the front of the vehicle and had walked around Ms. Taylor's vehicle and shot multiple shots into the passenger side of the vehicle. Ms. Taylor ended up suffering from some fatal shots, and her vehicle was left in motion, traveling in a counterclockwise motion in reverse when police arrived on scene.
Any parent that has a child that 21 bullets were shot into her car, they would feel the same as me. I can't fathom my daughter not being with me. The phone rings and I want to run to the phone because I want to talk to her. We talked every day.
My sister was such a beautiful person that the police told us that in her entire life, she didn't even have a traffic ticket, nothing.
This is someone that actually served her country in the Air Force. This is a woman that went to work every day. This is a woman that provided for everyone else. And so it's very difficult to understand why somebody would have killed Carol, especially in this fashion.
An innocent woman to be brutally shot down with an AK-47, an automatic rifle, in such a violent, senseless act.
My husband's been sick from this. He's an 80-year-old man.
Almost died 3 weeks ago. And I just hope that the Lord will make a way for us. We just hope that we can bring closure to this.
I'm getting very limited cooperation with the course of this investigation. I have very few suspect leads at this point. The suspect was described as a tall, thin black male, possibly wearing a dark-colored scully and a white short-sleeve shirt, dark-colored pants. The suspect was said to be driving a red Pontiac, either G6 or Grand Prix or something similar. This is really a crime where our victim was a very good person. So right now, what I'd really like is community support as far as anybody that has any information whatsoever that can assist us with solving this crime.
And if this person is caught, I will be in the court every day. I want to look him in the face and look him in the eyes. Let him know what he's done to our life.
Carol Taylor didn't lead the type of life that would have brought her into contact with street thugs armed with machine guns. The people who did this didn't care if they had the right person or not. Who do you think is next for these killers? Someone you care about? It's obvious that we need to put the people who did this away so they can't hurt others. And the first step is for someone watching to pick up the phone and call Crime Stoppers with information on this case. Hello, I'm Dick Masten of Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers. This weapon is an AK-47, being found increasingly used in the shootings in South Florida. It's known on the streets as an AK or a chopper. This kind of weapon is exactly what the gun bounty program is designed to take off of the streets. The Miami-Dade Police Department will pay a reward of up to $1,000 for an arrest leading to the confiscation of one of these weapons. Welcome back to Crime Stoppers, South Florida Case Files. I'm Dick Masten. It's been proven that programs such as ours solve crimes after several airings of a case. With that in mind, we'd like to quickly review a few cases that we've featured on past episodes.
On June 10th, 2010, at approximately 11:15 p.m., Miami Gardens Police Department officials responded to 17130 Northwest 9th Place, reference a black male who was shot. Upon arrival, units along with fire rescue here in Miami-Dade County found a black male by the name of Vincent James McCoy in the southwest bedroom, deceased. During the investigation, it was learned that Mr. Vincent James McCoy was visiting friends at the residence located in Miami Gardens. They were watching a basketball game that was televised that evening. At some point during the evening, a phone call was made and Mr. McCoy got up. As Mr. McCoy got up from where he was watching the basketball game, he approached the front door. At that time, 3 shots rang out, and one of those 3 shots struck Mr. McCoy in the chest, and individuals then fled the residence along with other individuals who were outside. After sustaining that gunshot wound to the chest, Mr. McCoy stumbled throughout the residence and ended up collapsing in a rear bedroom. Mr. McCoy was pronounced deceased on the scene by Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. It was learned through the investigation that 2 black males wearing some type of sports apparel, possibly football jerseys, approached the residence, and one of those black males fired 3 rounds into the front door. The black males, after firing the rounds, then fled on foot in an unknown direction.
On July 14, 2010, 28-year-old Dwayne Whitehead was mowed down by a pair of murderers while hanging out at the Crystal Lakes Apartments in Miami Gardens. Here are the facts of the case.
So as Mr. Whitehead usually did every night, he would go out and sit on the stairway located at the Crystal Lake Apartments at 21025 Northwest 22nd Avenue. He would be listening to his MP3 player and talking with friends. Through this investigation, I learned that Dwayne Whitehead was confronted by several individuals, 2 of which were armed, one with a high-powered assault rifle, a 7.62, and the other with a handgun. Words were exchanged. Mr. Whitehead attempted to flee from those individuals as the individuals began to shoot. He was shot several times in the legs, stomach area, and his upper chest. Mr. Whitehead continued to flee northbound in between vehicles and the apartment complex. He ended up collapsing in between vehicles, approximately 50 feet north of the original scene. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue responded and transported Mr. Whitehead to Memorial Regional Hospital located in Broward, where he did succumb to his injuries and was pronounced deceased. Through this investigation, I learned that there was multiple people outside who did witness this event occurring and possibly saw the individuals who committed this heinous crime.
It would mean a whole lot to our family that whoever did this would get caught, because they took a big piece of our family away from us that didn't deserve it.
It's time to help Dwayne's family and prevent future murders by making these killers face justice. Crime Stoppers of Miami-Dade has one goal: to make the streets safer for law-abiding citizens by solving cases and capturing criminals. Be sure to join us next week for another episode of Crime Stoppers Case Files.